The market is coming back in the last half an hour, and that is because Boeing is rallying from 352 to 362 as the conference call is ending. But you're right. When you look at the good news that we've got, whether it's last week with Netflix, whether it's Sunday night, the news with China,
URI, CAT, UTX, JPM.
Right. So you have a market that continues to not rally on good news, but yet focus on the negative news like a Caterpillar, focusing on negative news like a Texas Instruments. What does that mean to me? It just means continued volatility. And as long as we're going to see continued volatility, you're not going to get the stabilization that you're all looking for. I think we're all looking for to go in and buy stocks.
I would say almost, Sarat, what the market's doing today is not a bad thing at all. If you're still bullish the market, yes, you want some retests. Retests generally don't happen one time. You're going to bounce around. You're going to go test it. One thing you don't want to see is a full-blown relapse and go even lower. But this is a pretty decent signal, I would say.
Absolutely, because what we had yesterday, and then you kind of came back, and then today you started off really badly. If that had continued through the day, I think then you would have said, well, the bottom is really not close. I think what you're seeing is the bottom being tested. We're going to go through this earnings season. We're going to get through some of this uncertainty. Elections will be done. We'll figure out kind of where we are going to be with China at that point. We'll have focus a little more, and I think we'll see the next quarter and what companies you really want to own.
Yeah, Jenny, why can't we rally on good news? Why isn't Boeing good enough, or United Rentals, or Caterpillar has its best third quarter in the company's history?
So one of the
that stock, I'm sorry, is down 11% since the earnings report.
What we've been talking about at Gilman Hill is that there's no sensible human who would be making these sell decisions. And I know you touched on this a little bit on the show yesterday, but when we're looking at CAT and URI, which we own, and they've got 8 to 10% earnings growth ahead of them, and they're trading at 10 times earnings, and they have these out of the park earnings calls, we're looking at it and we're saying there's no one we know, there's no portfolio manager we know, there's no investor we know. It's got to be robo-based, artificial intelligence-based. Maybe it's picking up on something like CAT says, material costs, right? And that suddenly triggers selling. It doesn't make sense to us.
Yeah, Pete, what do you make of it?
Well, it seems to me that we've had some great earnings, but then it's what they talk about afterwards, right? I mean, in terms of Caterpillar, they didn't give us any clarity, Scott. That's a problem. The markets don't like when you don't have clarity, and all they can say is, hey, look, we're really not sure. Boeing did not do that. Everything Boeing said was positive, 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 positive. And oh, by the way, did you see the cash flows? I mean, they were looking for $1.9 billion. They had over $4 billion. Their free cash flow there has been something that all of us have focused on, more so than the PE. You know how you look at the banks and you're oftentimes saying, well, what's it, versus book, where's this thing trading? I think with Boeing for a long time now, people have looked at that stock. They're not looking as much at the PE. They obviously are very conscious of where it is, but they're also looking at, hey, look at the cash flows that these guys have. Absolutely extraordinary.